Welcome to the Technologadget podcast number 5. I'm your host, Jacob Holt, and we have a guest this week, and your name is?
Casey Smith.
And we have Casey Smith on with us today, so let's go on and get started. The first thing, and we've got a lot of Apple news this week. Apple's just dominated the news this week. And so one thing I find really interesting is we have a prototype Mac Pro said to be redesigned, rackable, and stackable, which is interesting. So, that really raises the question of the Xserve, which I find really interesting, because Apple discontinued the Xserve in January because, they said there was a loss of interest. But basically what this rumor cites is that they're going to be turning the Mac Pro into an Xserve, pretty much. So I think that's kind of funny. Do you have anything to say on that?
I'm not really an Apple fan or nothing, but yeah.
But yeah.
It's
See,
fine.
and that's why we have him on, because he'll balance out the craziness of me talking about Apple all the time. Next we have from Apple, because we're just going to get all the Apple news at the beginning here, is supposedly the original iOS build, which was a beta, which never saw the light of day, had Facebook integration, which is really interesting, saying that, which I saw a video of this, which was supposedly the build, like before even the beta, It was like an alpha build. And it had Facebook integration. You had a thing where you could launch the app, and I guess you could publish videos and photos right from the Photos app. So,
yeah, I heard about that.
And I'm wondering why they took that out. I'm guessing they're waiting for iOS 5. I'm not necessarily sure, because it was there. I mean, it was obviously there. I don't know if it worked. Of course, I didn't get hands-on with it. But so I just wonder why Apple took that out. And so I don't know for sure about that one. And next thing I have is that there was a leak this week of the iOS. If you have a cellular iOS device, so an iPad or a cellular iPhone, no iPod Touch or Wi-Fi iPad, it will actually track your location. You can actually download this app. I'm not going to link to it anywhere. But you can actually download this app, and it'll tell you everywhere where your iPhone's been, just by the backup file that it stores on your Mac. And unfortunately, it is Mac only, so if you have a PC, you can't use it. But it works. I've used it. One thing that's weird, though, was I've never been to Nevada, but it said my iPhone had been to Nevada. So that was very strange. I don't know what the deal was there. I've never been to Nevada. But it had a thing there that I actually had a few places in Nevada that it said my iPhone had been. So I don't know what the deal is. Yeah. Maybe my iPhone, took a road trip one weekend. I'm not sure. But obviously, somehow my iPhone's been in Nevada.
Yeah.
And in the Apple quarterly earnings, which is interesting for Q2, or I believe it was for Q1 actually, telling about what happened in Q1. Over half of Apple's revenue from this quarter came from the iPhone, which is very interesting. So this means that the iPhone is now a really big business like it wasn't before. It's amazing.
Yeah, I heard about Verizon sells 2.2 million iPhones.
Yeah, 2.2 million. So, but AT&T. What's interesting about this is since the iPhone 4S came out on AT&T, they've only sold 3.6 million.
Yeah.
And the Verizon iPhone, I don't even think it's been out for 90 days yet.
Yeah.
So they're really making up ground with this, and I can see Verizon passing them up very quickly in this. So
yeah,
that's a very big deal, I think. So AT&T really needs to watch out and put 3G where I live. That's what they need to do. I have been harassing them over this.
Yeah.
And they will.
We need 3G.
We need 3G because me and him live close to each other. But we need 3G here. I've been harassing them over it, so we'll see if it ever comes. iMac supplies are running low, so we're saying that new iMacs may be inbound, hopefully with Sandy Bridge processors and with Thunderbolt. I don't really have any more details other than that, because I know those two will more than likely be coming. I don't know. Sandy Bridge looks nice. I get it, but I think it's better for laptops, not for desktops, just because, more like with desktops, like with my iMac, you have a built-in graphics card, and that's mainly the thing with Intel, or with the Sandy Bridge, is that it has that graphics chip built on the same die as the processor, so, it just, I don't know, but I don't see that being as energy efficient and as good for a desktop, so we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think it would be actually energy efficient because they're actually built on the same processor. So it will just compute, on the same CPU.
Well, I'm saying that, for laptops, it makes sense because you want to save power, you
Well,
want to,
yeah,
like that. But for a desktop where you've got a dedicated graphics chip, why do you need that?
yeah, true.
You
That
know,
is true.
why do you need one on the same die when your NVIDIA or AMD graphics chip is going to be faster? And speaking of this, I found this really funny.
Yeah,
Is you have with these upcoming Mac refreshes, you're going to see Intel processors with AMD graphics chips, and if you don't know, those two are competitors in
yeah.
the processor space. So I find that
Yes,
really interesting that you have two competitors in one product, which is interesting.
yeah.
And for Apple, which is a big company. Next thing is that Apple sues Samsung, which is very it's very interesting, I think. But I kind of understand why they've done it because if you look at the iPhone 3GS versus the Samsung Galaxy S, they are clones of each other pretty much. They look nearly identical. And so Apple is suing over trademark and patent infringement over that. Well, no, so sorry, just patent infringement over that. So, and what's most interesting about this is that Samsung provides most of the parts the for the iPhone. They provide the I'm drawing blank here. The flash chip and a few other components in the iPhone. So it's very interesting that Apple is pretty much suing the mouth that feeds them.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see how that works out in court. And this probably won't come to trial till next year, knowing the way the legal system works here in the States. But we'll just have to wait and see who wins that. And honestly, me being an Apple fanboy or not, I still see Apple winning this just because they do look a lot alike. So, next is
Yeah.
I have a rumor that the next iPhone is going to be called the iPhone 4S, which is very interesting, I think. And I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But it said it just has some minor changes with like an 8 megapixel camera, maybe an A5 processor, and that's it. It probably will even have iOS 4 on it, so we'll have to just wait and see. So,
Yeah.
or maybe we may even have an iPhone 4S come out here in June, and then an iPhone 5 coming out in September. I mean, nobody's really explored that, but that may be very possible, and that may be why the hardware manufacturers has not received much information on the next iPhone, is because it's pretty much going to be using the same chassis.
Well, I see Apple sending iPhone 4S models to select developers. So
Oh, they are. See, now
yeah,
I haven't read that yet, so that probably may be what's going to happen. I mean, very well maybe. And if so, I probably will skip out on it if Apple does that. Which maybe not. We'll just have to wait and see.
yeah,
Next thing that I have to report on is that the Reuters claims that Apple is done with their cloud music service. So they're pretty much just waiting to launch it. I guess they're doing some testing now in-house, but they said they're pretty much done with it and waiting to launch it. So we'll just have to wait and see. But it'll be really neat to see this. I hope Apple does this. I think the future of all music is to the cloud? No, I do not think so for multiple reasons. One, especially being file sizes and having to stream those to your device and it being slow and not everyone
yeah.
has 3G. And Wi-Fi sometimes even isn't even fast enough because I don't know if you have, Casey, but I've used SugarSync with my iPhone, and playing a song from my iPhone from SugarSync is very slow. Tap it and you wait, and wait, and finally it loads up. And my Wi-Fi network is at a very decent speed, so I don't know what the deal is there.
Yeah. I tried a Sugar Sync on my iPod. I don't think it was that great. It took forever for it to load a song or anything on it, but I didn't think it was that great, really.
Yeah, that's what I said. So it's I hope that they make that app better. I hear I hear an update is in the works for that. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
And next, which was my last piece of Apple news, thank the Lord. I know if you guys don't like Apple, this has been the most painful few minutes of your lives, but we're finally here. And the last one here is the MIC USB iHub. MIC is a company that has made with the Steve Jobs figurine that Apple got all upset over, and they're going like for thousands of dollars on eBay. But the MIC USB hub is a USB hub that has an Apple logo on it. When you plug it in, it lights up. I ordered one. It was $16, including shipping, and they have already discontinued it because Apple has told them to stop for fear of legal action. So I was lucky enough to